So Priti, last time we met with you, you shared with us so much about your paintings, about how Mother talked to you about your work. But then you remembered there were a few more things, especially you mentioned to me about birthdays, so we wanted to ask you again to come and share with us your remembrances.
There are two things actually which I wish to how should I say, live them again. That was the way Mother educated us and taught us. She taught us how to recite poetry, and then she gave us dictations, and she read out stories to us. Actually, one of our teachers, it was really, she did us a very, very great turn to us in our lives. We were about 8 or so, and 8 years of age, and French wasn't so very commendable. So she said, Mother has just started her classes in the guest house, and I'll get her permission to induct, I think it was 3 of us or 4 of us.
Which guest house?
The place where the children play now, adjacent to the playground. And so we got enrolled, and there were 3 days that she used to take French, and she always made it a point to talk in French and in no other tongue. So we had Sunday, she used to give us a dictation. Tuesday she used to take a recitation day, and on Friday she used to bring her own storybooks for children, and some of them were her favorite. There was one rabbit of Africa called Masako Kari, and we enjoyed all the adventures that Masako Kari went through. And personally, I got a lot of dramatic skill from the mother. Mother used to read Masako Kari in a small voice, because actually Masako Kari was a subject of the king of the forest, the lion, and there were other characters also. There was the elephant, I forget his name, there was the tiger, finally there was the king of the village. And all these animals whom Masako Kari met on the way, they had intentions of gobbling him up. He said, you just wait, I'll meet the king and come back. So when she impersonated the elephant, especially the lion, she came out with such a loud and gruff voice, and that was very, very impressionable. And I tried to do that, implement that when I became a teacher. And her expressions were so very liquid and so very enticing, I should say. And the other 2 days, on Sunday, she used to write down the dictation, whatever she was going to dictate, to Tara. Tara would note it down in a notebook. We would go and copy that dictation, and then when she dictated the given portion, in spite of that we made mistakes. Painstakingly she corrected all the 20 of us who were sitting round her, and she would say, so many mistakes, and the day there were no mistakes she would write très bien. And on Tuesdays we had poetry. They also, Mother had her own selected portions, favorite poets. She used to note down the poems, give it to Tara, and we would copy from there and then try to recite. And she would call us one by one, and she would watch our expression, and she would also try to imitate us. And there was once, I remember, there was about a crow, and the child is telling to the crow, don't cry so hard because I'm sleeping. And mother was anticipating every movement of the how should I say, the face and the expression, and she almost followed me step by step. And then that day I got 10. Every day she used to give us points, and the day we recited well, you'd get 10. And after we scored 100, after every 10 points, she used to give us a prize, a small notebook with her signature, with her photo on it, as Tara would do it. And then at the end, anybody who scored first, the 100 points, would get a special prize. So Subhash and I scored first. In the meantime, what had happened, one day she had asked us, what do you like best? And I hardly knew any French. So one of our colleagues, she trained me up that you say, what do you like? I said, I like dolls. So you said, I like dolls. So I went and sat in front of mother and said, mother said, what do you like? I said, dolls. And she said aside to Tara, such a big girl and still playing with dolls. So the incident passed, and the next time I scored 10 points, there was a small doll for me. Perhaps that was a way of getting me rid of this passion for playing with dolls. And as I said, the prize we received were writings of Shobindo, printed from the press on handmade paper. Handmade paper had just made its, how should I say, its appearance. And that was something very precious to us. Then on Fridays, as I said, she would not only read the stories, she would invite some of us to come and read. So that was very, very enjoyable. And I think that's the way we learned to speak French, because we had to interact with her in French. Even on birthdays or on other days, whenever we approached her, it was always in French. Because mother had commented that that's the only language through which she can communicate with the child easily.
Priti, I wanted to ask you a question very close to me, of course. Do you remember any of the poets that mother liked?
There was Verlaine, there was, I think she had chosen something from Baudelaire also.
Only French poets?
Only French poets. Oh, there were some memorable lines which we would often quote. Very beautiful lines. And Surendra was there, and every time he would stumble. So mother would help him with one word. He would go to one word. Again another word, but still to no effect. He never could complete the poem. So that was, I think that was the educational side. And relating to the guest house, if we were lucky enough to have birthdays, in the evenings mother used to, of course she used to come every evening. Then our friends would stand in 2 rows, and we would stand beside mother with the sandpit behind us. And then one of the friends or captains would say happy birthday to such and such person. And after that we would say victoire à la douce mère, or victoire à notre petite mère, the way we liked best. And then I think it was just once I got a book that she presented to me, and
Priti, can you tell us how did you develop a technique of painting and how mother encouraged you in
I
developing
think
that
that
technique?
we touched.
But you had more on birthdays that you wanted to tell us.
Yes, birthdays was, as she always said, that of course we didn't realize the importance of birthdays. It's later on that when she expounded to Monada about the importance of birthdays. Birthdays was a special day to go to mother. And I remember I had straight hair, so my sister used to curl them artificially, and I wouldn't let anybody touch my hair for the 3 days prior my birthday. And then the hair would be open, and then mother would touch the head fully, and that was a great, that was a great event. Then there were, the venues changed. In the early years, we used to go to the mother on the landing, and there we'd meet her. Then it shifted to afternoons. Then again, when she started coming to the playground, we used to meet her in the playground. When she stopped coming to the playground, we used to meet her again in the ashram. But the childhood memories were so full of, love and fondness. We had, we used to prepare something for her, either in embroidery, especially in embroidery. And she'd hold it on her lap and she'd say, "Is it for me? C'est pour moi?" And then she would just, pour out praises as if she has never seen something so beautiful before. And then naturally all the caressing that went along with it. And I remember one birthday, I had a small shelf to myself where I used to keep my books. And my mother said, "Look, if you can keep the shelf clean, I'm going to give you 10 rupees every month." So finally, when it came to the 12th month, I think before December came, I planned to give something to mother. So before December came, the money was incomplete. I couldn't reach the target. Anyway, my mother completed the account, and then we went and bought a lovely piece of a shawl for mother, velvet, very beautiful. I think it was brownish velvet, very beautiful. So I took that piece, and my sister explained in French the way I had collected the money to offer her the shawl. The best part of it was when I went to the playground, and as children we were not allowed to stand in concentration, because after the marching each group stood. So the elder green groupers used to stand, but we were not allowed. So that day I got a special permission, and I went and stood there. Mother had draped herself with the shawl, and she was standing in front of the map, and then she just made a slight move and looked at me to imply that, "Look, I've worn your shawl." I was so happy with that. And so that was it. We used to, later on I made a painting for her. That was way back in, I think, 57. And she told me something very valuable, which I've already told you, that "Are you truly interested in painting?" And then I said, "Yes," very simply. She said, "Look, try to paint whatever comes from within."
I wanted to ask you about the birthday cards that Mother gave you.
Yes, there were two very memorable ones. I think I've mentioned that before. I painted a waterfall, and she said, "Your waterfall isn't at all like a waterfall, it looks like wood." And then she gave me a picture of a Chinese painting, and she said something very beautiful, that Let her become more and more conscious of the eternal beauty. No, let her become conscious of the eternal beauty. And there was another card where in the I forget now that the
But
second
you
one was
received many cards from her over the years.
yes, but it was more or less with love and blessings. But these two were really memorable.
Thank you, Priti.